Welcome to T.O.L Studios, and in lesson 16 we're going to take a look at kind of the same thing we were finishing up in 15. We explored the key G major. We've been talking about this last couple lessons. That's why we picked up what we call an F sharp. Just to kind of go back over, we always have a scale that there's the first note, the second note, and that has to be a whole step between those. In this case we're in the G scale, so A is our next letter because it's alphabetical order. So G, then to A because it goes back to the beginning, then B, C. But we had to make sure we followed this, what we call a formula, meaning the 2 whole steps, half step, 3 whole steps, half step. So that's why we learned we did have this as a whole step, we had this as a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. And because we needed to do another whole step, that's what created us becoming an F to an F sharp. So then F sharp would actually be like the 7th note of this scale. G would be the 1st note. Then I started showing you how we were going to take the patterns that we had learned in the key of C, and I started showing you how to move around the patterns you already know, and just now how you're going to switch those around when you play in the key of G. So what we talked about was in the key of C, we kind of knew that this was an E note, and what that note was in the C scale, the E was the 3rd note of that scale, and that's what created what pattern we played here. So the only thing I threw at you last lesson, when you go to the key of G, we're thinking, what note does the 6th string, when I play that open, which is an E, what number is that E note of that G scale? Okay, and then that G scale, E, is going to be the 6th note. So I started talking about, that's why we were going to play pattern 6 and start here with this open note. Now the only thing I might have did that might have confused some, instead of showing it here first, I kind of jumped down here to the 12th fret, and the reason I did that was because when you played it here, it will totally look like the pattern 6 that you've already learned when you're in the key of C. But because of your open notes, when we get sharps, and later on I'll teach you when we get flat notes, you sometimes don't see the patterns exactly down here because you have to change a note because of it being sharped. So in this case, and I'll kind of use my index so you can see it, if this is pattern 6, and seeing this like a fret, that would have been E, F sharp, G, then your A, B, C, D, E. But I should have to take my, remember how we always switch and we go back? Well, we can't do that here because of an open note. So since F sharp was next and I'm on E, that's why I was teaching you last lesson that you're just going to have to reach up and get the F sharp this way. Then you can go back. But now I told you wouldn't play with those fingers. To see it, you would do it this way. Just still go back to the 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, that position. So open E, that's the 6th string. F sharp, G, and this is pattern 6. A, B, C, D, E, and then we got the F sharp here, and then our open 3rd string for G, A, and then we hit our open 2nd string for B, C, D, then open E, F sharp, and then your G. Now when we see that same pattern, when we get up to the 12th fret, it'll look more normal. So I kind of tell everybody, whenever we start exploring different scales, these patterns sometimes are the ones that do look a little bit different. But if we know that's pattern 6, we talked about in the last lesson, if we know it's pattern 6, then what you're doing, if E is 6, the next note that we played was the F sharp, and then we had a G right next to it. So F sharp is going to be the 7th note of that scale, and then G would be back at the 1st note. So that's why I would take what we know pattern 7-1 is and start it on F sharp, and then it's going to look like the pattern. Again, if you have it memorized, you'll see what I'm playing. Okay, now again, you do this slow, but if I said the letters, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, can see that looks just like what I showed you before, what pattern 7-1 was. It's just we didn't play it here, we played it up in a different spot of the neck because we were in a different scale. Now if this is 7, F sharp, G is 1, when we're in this scale, the second note's going to be A. So when we go to A right here, we're going to take what we know pattern 2 is, because A is going to be the second note of the G scale. So we're going to take what we learned pattern 2 was, which we played it in a different spot again because we were in a different scale when I taught it to you for C. Now we're going to play it here, but it's going to look just like the pattern you knew before. Okay, and again, you should be reviewing those so you can see that. But that would have been A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. And same thing as always, you should know it backwards. C, B, A, G, F sharp. And then you're going to hit your E. And then you've got your D, C, B, A, G, F sharp. Then your E, D, C, B, A. Okay, and again, that would be pattern 2 in the G scale. So far we've got pattern 6. And that's here at the open position. Okay, or again, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Then we're learning pattern 7 and 1 started on the F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A. And now I'm showing you that you can take pattern 2 starting it on the A note, because again, A is the second note of your G scale. And you're going A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. Then that means if this is A and that's our second note, if I go up to the B, that's going to be pattern 3 and 4 because I'm on my B. So that's half step, B and C, third and fourth note. So I'm going to take pattern 3 and 4, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. Same thing, then you should be able to play that backwards again the same way, knowing your letters. So that means G, F sharp, E, D, C, B. So you can just say those up and down. Okay, and that was pattern 3, 4. So then if we go from the B and the C, the third, the fourth note, D is going to be the fifth note because D is the fifth note of the G scale. So we're going to start on our D, and that's going to be pattern 5 because D is the fifth note. That's going to look just like you would have already known. Again, you just would have played it at a different spot of the guitar. When we learned in the key of C, we were playing it down here. But now that's the same thing. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. And then finally, if that's pattern 5, if we got to the 6th note, or we went up from 5, or D, up to E, E again is the 6th note of the G scale, because we're on this. So when we do this pattern here, this one's going to look more normal. We have E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Okay, and then if I'm on the 6th note, if I go up, that's F sharp. Now I'm back at what we did here, 7 and 1. I'm just going to be playing it here. So again, I said before in previous lessons, if your fingers end up getting long, these frets get small, you might just not use your pinky and use these. Then you could have it F sharp, G, A, V. And you could do it this way as well, versus if you didn't want to go like this. I practice both. Sometimes I want my ring finger instead of the pinky. In this case, I still kind of like use my pinky too. Just depends on what I'm playing. I practice both. But if this is pattern 7 and 1, F sharp G, right here on the A, we'd be right back at pattern 2. Okay, so we're just doing the same thing. You probably are going to use these fingers because the frets get smaller. So do that slow. I realize when you're using these fingers, if you trained them this way, this might trick us a little bit. So just play it slow so it feels comfortable. That way you see it the same way as you do with these fingers. Okay, but again, you might prefer to still do it with your pinky. You could. It's whatever you're comfortable doing. Or and see what I did is I just stretched up with this. So I went 1, 3, 4, or sorry, 1, 2, 3, instead of 1, 3, 4. And then on this string, so when I had this pattern coming backwards, I would have went here. So instead of going 4, 2, 1, I just decided to go 3, 2, 1. So again, when these get smaller, you can substitute those up. Okay, so basically that's how all the patterns are going to work together. The next lesson we'll start exploring another scale, so I can show you the same thing. You're taking all the patterns you've learned, and it's just knowing which one do you start with here now. In the key of C, we learned it was pattern 3, 4. Then we went to pattern 5, and then 6, and then 7 and 1. And that again was because E was tuned to the third note of the C scale. The scale we're in now, G, E is the 6th note, so we started with pattern 6. But then we still went 7 and 1, and then 2, then 3, 4, then 5, then 6. So you're still always running them in order, it's just which one do you start down here. And that's what changes when you're going to different scales. So we'll take a look at another scale in the next lesson that I can kind of explain that a little better. Have some fun. Thanks for watching T.O.L Studios.